There's a saying that some wounds are so deep they can only be healed by a story. I believe that. I believe there's something supernatural about stories. Jesus told stories. People would ask direct questions, and Jesus would tell them a story. There's something healing about story. These are Jesus stories. Lots of different people, lots of different backgrounds. But this story is a part of something that you need to hear. Watch it, share it. Here it is.
We're so glad that you're here this morning, and as you know, we've been sharing stories each week here. We're calling them Our Stories of Inspiration, of Miracles. I want to introduce you to my friend Robin. Would everyone welcome Robin with me? And we hope these stories are encouragement. We want to we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the word of our testimony, right? And Robin, I was telling the earlier services, I've said, we've known each other for now, well, I guess it's 15 years.
Yes.
And I did not know her name for probably the first 6 months of knowing her, because all Dean would say is, that woman right there, she's a miracle. That girl over there, she's a miracle. So I knew you as the miracle girl. Did you feel like a miracle at the time?
At the time I didn't, but I definitely do now.
Fast forward, you just celebrated 3 days ago your 15 years of sobriety anniversary. Talk about sobriety from what? What did that look like? What have you come out of and conquered?
So I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. There wasn't any Christ, any Jesus in our lives. There was a lot of chaos, alcoholism, sexual abuse. There was suicide by family members, a whole bunch of brokenness. And I found drugs and alcohol first at about the age of 14, and by the time I was 18, I was utilizing cocaine, pretty much any drug that anybody had. I just was escaping my reality.
The pain that had built up from your life, you're numbing it. Your alcohol, drugs, it led to also prostitution.
Yes.
And anything to enable your habit.
Yes. I spent a lot of time in and out of jail for numerous crimes that I utilized just to support my addiction,
So talk about the moment when you got tired of being sick and tired, as I call it, and that moment where you just had enough, because this story, I think, is quite incredible. But you really felt like you were done. You really needed a change of drugs and prostitution and the life that you were living.
Yes, I was so broken, but I knew I needed something different. I needed a new way of life. I had a warrant out of Pierce County Jail. I went to turn myself into the jail, but they wouldn't take me. They told me I needed to get a police officer to arrest me.
So you're begging to go to jail.
Yes.
You need to get a police officer, so you decide to take matters into your own hands.
I did. I went back to my place and I drank some more brandy, and I was like, I had this grandiose idea. I'm going to call the police on myself. I went out to 56th and Pacific, called the police, said there was a woman prostituting, and within about 2 minutes, police showed up. And they said, we have a report, somebody's out, that you were out here prostituting. And I said, yeah, I called on myself. And they originally didn't want to take me to jail. So I begged the police officer to take me. I told him I wanted to get clean and sober, and I needed to go to jail. He finally gave in and took me to jail.
He took you.
Yeah.
I love this part of the story because you're begging to go to jail, right? Who begs to go to jail? But you really believed that that was going to be a reset for you, and that's where Jesus met you. You had no idea that was going to be your real transformation.
Exactly. You know, there was a group of women would bring in a Bible study into the jail, and they would pray over me, and I got connected with a mentor. When I got released from jail, the mentor started taking me to church. I ended up in a women's Bible study. I was vulnerable, transparent, told everybody my story, and women began to just love on me and embrace me. They mentored me. They were spiritual advisors for me. They loved me without judgment, which is something I never had. You know, I always felt shame and just not worthy of that kind of love. But they loved me until I could learn to love myself.
That's beautiful. I love that God keeps doing the transformation. He meets you in jail. It doesn't stop there. You come to church, you get plugged in, people are pouring into you, and now, full circle, you're pouring into other people.
Yes.
Tell everyone for your career what you're doing with the rescue mission.
I work for the Tacoma Rescue Mission. I work as a stability specialist. People that are coming out of the New Life program, they get housing through our housing programs. I work with them in being stable in their recovery and just teaching them adulting skills. I kind of call it adulting 101, you know. But it's really rewarding just to be able to continue to pour into other people and continue to show them the mercy and grace that was showed to me.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Doesn't that encourage you? What do you want us to know today from your story? You're so brave. 15 years, and you put a post on Facebook this week, and you broke it down by hour, by day, by minute, over 7 million minutes. So you've been living this life 15 years of God's goodness, that He's been so good, that you've been now pouring into others. You have joy in your life. What do you want us to know about if someone is struggling in their sobriety, if they know somebody, if they're, talk to them?
Just know that God has a purpose for you. Trust in the Lord. And, my favorite verse when I first got out of jail, because I used to, one thing I remembered when I was in jail at that time was people always talked about how they would leave jail and leave Jesus in the jail and not take Him out with them. I walked out of that jail trusting in the Lord and knowing I could do all things through Christ.
Amen.
I always think of Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the thoughts I have for you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of hurt, to give you a hope and a future. That there is a hope and a future out there for each and every one of us, And if you see somebody struggling, be that person, extend that hand of grace to them, just love on them and show them that mercy and grace.
Beautiful, beautiful. You are a miracle. Would you thank Robin for sharing her story? Stand with me, and we're going to do our 2-minute social, and Robin's going to be here. I encourage you to come up, say hello to her, congratulate her on her 15 years, turn to someone, say hello. 2 minutes, ready, set, go.
Thank you for watching. I'd love to see you come in the building one of these days. We're over here in University Place at the corner of 67th and Cirque. There's a place for you. You don't have to be a Protestant. You don't even have to be a Jesus person yet. This is a Jesus place, and we talk about Jesus every weekend. If you're a regular, I'd love to have you give to help support what we're doing. Things like this video, it's super important, and we're making a difference. You're making a difference. Do you believe that? Look forward to seeing you soon.